Well, just want to start by thanking you for coming in and being willing to share your experience and just be mindful that it can really help someone
Sure.
else who's maybe in a similar situation. So feel free to be as honest as possible. If you want to start by walking us through what happened maybe the day before the crash happened.
Yeah, I mean, everything was normal. Life was good. Got married just a couple years before that. Had a daughter who was 9 months old. Um, so yeah, just just normal life.
Mhm. And when you were riding your moped through Salt Lake City, where were you headed downtown?
I was just finished up with work, so I was headed home. We were having some friends over for dinner, and I was going to go spend some time with my daughter before they came over.
Do you have any memories leading up to the moment of the crash?
It happened so fast that like really nothing. I was just cruising along 1 second, and then next second, everything changed.
And after you were hit by the SUV that didn't even stop, what were the things going through your mind right after the accident?
um, it's a weird thing because I didn't know how seriously I was injured. I probably had a lot of adrenaline going, but um, I just thought that I got the wind knocked out of me, and I laid there for a second, and I tried to move, and I realized that I couldn't really move very well, and that's when I kind of realized that I probably wasn't in very good shape.
Do you have any memories of the emergency response?
Yeah, everything was quick. It was my phone must have gotten knocked out of my pocket, and a nice lady came and picked it up and said, "Can I call someone?" And she called my wife, and so my wife and my baby daughter got down there actually on the scene before as they were loading me up in the ambulance. And so it's good to be able to just see them and let them know everything's gonna be all right.
Yeah.
And then they took me to the hospital up at the U.
You suffered some pretty serious injuries. What has your recovery looked like so far?
I mean, the initial recovery was painful and slow, especially with I had 5 broken ribs, and there's not much they can do about those other than just kind of manage the pain. In the hospital, you know, everything seemed like normal. I mean, just broken bones, but everything's great. But then my lung collapsed, and that was scary, and they had to rush a lot of personnel in to take care of that and put a tube through my chest, um, and the recovery was was long, but nothing unexpected happened. But I remember the Kristen who I was working with here kind of warned me like you might like you've got severe injuries, but there's stuff that you might notice later on,
Mm.
and that's why she kind of counseled me to that we take our time going through the lawsuit. And sure enough, after all the broken bones healed, I found that I couldn't. I had trouble like moving my shoulder, and that was kind of something that lasted for about a year really before it fully recovered.
Yeah. What would you say some of the hardest parts were during the recovery process, either physically or emotionally?
Um, I would say physically it was really difficult because we had a 9 month old baby at home, and I couldn't help my wife with anything. I couldn't pick up my daughter for a couple months. I couldn't really help out around the house. So, that's both, I guess, kind of physical and emotional because you feel like you can't be there for your family.
Yeah.
So I'd say that was the most difficult part.
At what point did you realize you needed legal help?
Pretty much when I was in the hospital, like right away. I mean, it wasn't like my first thought, but once all the chaos kind of died down, um, I knew that we'd have to deal with the situation. I've never had to be involved in like a personal injury type of case, and so I wasn't really sure even how to go about it. My dad made some calls to some people in the profession that he knew, and that's how we got your guy's name.
Yeah. And what was your experience like working with the legal team?
Honestly, it was great. There's so much that goes into it that I didn't realize, and it wasn't just it wasn't just handling the case with the other party's lawyer, but all the dealing with the hospital and with insurance, um, all the behind the scenes stuff, and it was just really nice. I didn't really have to worry about it. Anytime I would have a question, I would shoot it to Kristen, and she would immediately answer my question or get on whatever it was, and so the whole process was just really smooth and easy. I didn't really have to do all that much.
And you would say you felt well supported and informed throughout the process as well?
Yeah, it was great having one main point of contact, and they gave me a phone number that I could text message at any point, and they would immediately respond. Kristen would set up phone calls every couple of weeks, video calls where we'd get on. She'd update me what's going on. It kind of dragged on for a while because I believe it was the hospital. She was dealing with the hospital, trying to work out some of the medical bills, and so I know it was not easy on her part, but she just kept working on it. Would give me updates until the whole thing was finalized.
What would you have to say maybe to someone who's hesitant to reaching out to Parker McConkie?
I mean, first of all, there's no downside in reaching out and having a conversation. Parker McConkie wasn't the only law firm that we talked to. We talked to a few of them, and it's all about just being, I mean, really it's about being comfortable with who you're working with. And after we sat down with a few people, we knew that this was the best route to go. So I would say that it's definitely worthwhile to have that initial conversation.
Yeah. What does life look like for you now after being recovered or being further along in your recovery, and what are you looking most forward to?
Life is good. It's back to normal now, and the settlement. Now that that's all finalized, really helped a lot because I had to miss a lot of work during the whole situation. But now life is good. It almost seems like a distant memory. We got our second kid on the way, and I'm really grateful that things weren't worse, and that we were able to get the whole situation settled. And I really think I didn't have to do too much. I just relied on Kristen and Parker McConkie, and it just really what eased the burden from me.
Yeah. Thank you so much for coming in and sharing your experience. We really, really appreciate it, and we're grateful that you trusted us with this process and able to help you.
Happy to be here.
Yeah.
Thanks.